mean, whether I'd be wanting to go in at 7-2 now is another matter, but I think, you know, if you were anything over 5-1, you've probably got a reasonable price there, and he should, you know, be there to try and pick these off late. But it'd be interesting to see how the front runners go.
See, here's Tony.
One at the back does not want to go. Glory B. Glory B is not with them. Came out just at the back of the field and has just dug his toes in, Glory B. So he is not with the field as they go towards the first of 9. We'll await news on his participation or not as King's Counsel, the red sleeves and cap, Dennis O'Regan, keen to lead and goes on at flight number 1 of 9. To in second position in the red and yellow, racing very handy indeed, is Sam Lord with the white face, and we've got one broken down badly and pulled up, Ashburton Lad, before that flight. So Ashburton Lad, I'm afraid, has been pulled up as they go towards the flight, which will be the last in a circuit's time, and it's jockey's jumped off very quickly indeed. This will be the last next time around. It's King's Counsel from Sam Lord. And then Gentleman Jeff on the inside. Sheridan is out wide of Cunning Clarets in the yellow and maroon colours as they jump this third flight. And all get over safely. Towards the back at the moment is Teenage Idol, and also in rear is Lap of Honour as they race up past the stands with a circuit to go. So already without Glory B, who refused to jump off at the field. And Ashburton Lad, who looks to have broken down quite badly between the first and second flights. Meanwhile, a complete circuit ahead of them, and it's King's Counsel who leads up here in the hands of Dennis O'Regan, going on by a length and a half to Gentleman Jeff on the inside. Out wider is Sam Lord, then Sheridan from Cunning Clarets, then Favours Brave is racing next in the maroon jacket. Behind Favours Brave, towards the inside, Red Skipper, and then Teenage Idol. Lap of Honour is racing towards the rear of the field as they head down the far side towards the 4th, 5th and 6th flights. And also just dropping towards the back is Charlie Crab as well in the red and black colours. Meanwhile, it's King's Counsel who leads up by a length to Sam Lord and Sheridan, then Gentleman Jeff and Cunning Clarets. 2 lengths back to Red Skipper, who's on the inside, being followed through by Favours Brave. And behind that one, racing wide, is Teenage Idol, who's made up a bit of ground as they race towards the middle one down the far side. Sheridan also being kept notably wide by AP McCoy, has now come to just take over from King's Counsel. So Sheridan and King's Counsel go on to Sam Lord in 3rd. Gentleman Jeff is over in 4th position in the white and red colours. Then Cunning Clarets, who's just ahead of Teenage Idol and Red Skipper. They're both in red and yellow colours. They race towards the last down the back 4 from home. Sheridan and King's Counsel. King's Counsel more fluent there. Lands just in front to, in second place, Sheridan. Then Cunning Clarets is on the move now. The yellow and maroon to go into a share of 3rd with Gentleman Jeff. Behind that is Sam Lord, who's lost ground. Then Red Skipper. Lap of Honour being ridden along from Teenage Idol. There's a gap back to the rest. Charlie Crab is being hard ridden in rear as they race towards the end of the far side. Favours Brave has also dropped away pretty quickly, and they're on the home turn now with just 3 left to jump. King's Counsel out in front to Sheridan in 2nd. Gentleman Jeff in 3rd. Cunning Clarets 4th, then Red Skipper. Sam Lord being ridden. Behind Sam Lord is Teenage Idol. Then Lap of Honour, a big gap back to Favours Brave, and a huge gap back to Charlie Crab as they turn for home, and they're going to bypass this flight, I believe, as they race towards the turn. And as they do so, it's still King's Counsel in front. The flag there, as you can see, as they race towards the flight down the home straight. And the checkered flags are out with the stricken Ashburton lads. They're going to jump the, what would have been the 3rd last. King's Counsel is over safely towards the far side. Making ground is Red Skipper. Cunning Clarets is also on the move. They go towards the 2nd last. Cunning Clarets in the centre. Far side is Red Skipper. As they jump this flight, it's now Cunning Clarets who's got to the front going well. Leads by 2 lengths to King's Counsel and Red Skipper. Then comes Sheridan, and they're ahead of Gentleman Jeff. 4 lengths back to Teenage Idol, then Lap of Honour and Sam Lord. They head towards the final flight here, and it's Cunning Clarets being pressed again by King's Counsel, who's coming back for more. Cunning Clarets, though, is in front. Here's the last. Cunning Clarets makes a mistake, gives King's Counsel a chance near side. Cunning Clarets now being tackled again by King's Counsel. 50 yards to go. King's Counsel near side. Cunning Clarets digging in. Here's the wire. Cunning Clarets maybe just got back up to deny King's Counsel, and they were clear of in 3rd Red Skipper, and 4th was Teenage Idol. They were ahead of Sheridan in 5th. Then came Gentleman Jeff.
Well, a race full of incident, not least at the start actually, but let's deal with the finish first. Cunning Clarets out in the centre, and the near side is King's Counsel. We will try and sit across the PA for you. Cunning Clarets is 25s on, and King's Counsel now trading as big as 50s. So we'll keep you posted as to the outcome. I'm trying to hang fire for you just so I can not talk over the finish, the outcome of the photo. But there was obviously that incident at the start as well. Glory B was behind the others when they were let go and effectively took no part. Probably will be deemed a runner. They do have the option under the rules if it was
Here is
denied.
the result
Here
of
we
the
go.
photo finish for first place. First, number 9, Cunning Clarets.
Cunning Clarets wins.
Second, number 4. Third, number 13. And the fourth horse, number 3.
Poor old King's Counsel, and he still found a way. Well, I say a way out to win. That's unfair on him, actually. Cunning Clarets, the 7-2 favourite, well backed by Richard Fahey and Brian Hughes, ahead of the King's Counsel in second and Red Skipper in third. Now we're going to slow-mo the... Well, actually, maybe we can play the start at real time first of all. Oh, we're going to play it slow-mo first. Just to try and see the whole start scenario, if you like, rather than just... because sometimes in slow motion it can look a little bit misleading. But obviously, you see Glory B did not jump off with them, was a little bit behind. But often it's a way when they're only coming in a collecting area, you want to see how they all come out. So we're going to show it for you at real speed, if you like, to see whether or not Glory B... Let's see if we can... They are still looking, apparently, stewards-wise. Glory B. There's also some concern as to what the yellow flag waving was to do. He's on his heels. I don't know. It's... The thing is, I'm sure he'll be deemed a runner under the current rules because obviously it's not necessarily sent to protect, you know, horses that are of the Vodkatini type disposition, if you like. But clearly it was a significant impact on the race. And the other point about this is it often gets talked about being, you know, unfair, etc. to punters, but it is a Rule 4 message where, you know, by which one set of punters subsidise another. So we shouldn't get...
Just see it again, as you said, Richard. Sometimes it looks worse in slow motion, but they are all actually
He's there with him, isn't he?
He's there before. He's there in front of the back three.
The problem is the starter's assistant at the back isn't really there to administer, you know, the whip waving. So I think... Looking at that again, you'd have to feel that the horse was at least contributory to that. He was in a position where he could have started.
50-50-50 is one of those that you'll, well, depending on your disposition, you will call either way. But as they go down the back here, again, dear old King's Counsel, he's always there to be shot at, isn't he? And he runs a very genuine race because that's when he got headed. He did actually come back at them as well. If there was a horse that was inconvenienced by it today, I think it was Sheridan, and poor old Clive Mulhall is still searching for that Wetherby winner. But Cunning Clarets got the perfect toe into the race, didn't he? Just positioned behind them, jumped pretty well all the way round. Just thought one occasion down the back straight, he just wasn't going as well, but he soon came back onto the bridle, turning for home. And there were a few others that caught our eye as we were looking there. Maybe Sam Lord didn't travel as well as he normally does today. Teenage Isle didn't run a bad race. He's 15 pounds above his last winning mark, and I just thought he probably just needed the race. And he travelled quite well for a long way, and just wonder if in future he might be
right
something.
Sorry,
but then there's the yellow flag. Well, pops out here.
There is the yellow flag. Now, again, please, these sort of rules, when you try to recollect them, I know Stuart will know, and we'll get in touch with him as soon as he's back up at Nottingham. My understanding of yellow flags is that that's a stop race signal. And Tony in commentary clearly thought so as well. And it's to do with a stricken horse, but obviously, let's show you exactly what then transpires. But basically, that's also stood in a position where I believe he was trying to stop the race there. Doesn't seem to be any... Anyway, let's say these things in situ, and there you can obviously see the reason for the obstruction being raised because the horse is down.
That's the correct flag then, is it? The checkered flag.
But I mean, this has happened with a race horse on the the checkered flag is the normal one that's raised for a hazard or a omitted flag. Stuart's in the commentary box. Stuart, I know you know your flags. Yellow race flag, I believe that was a stop flag. Is that the case?
Unless it's changed in the very recent future, it is a stop race. It was certainly the case at Doncaster. It was briefly a heart-stopping moment where I saw it fluttering that day, but it's definitely yellow is a stop race and a checkered flag is a warning of a hazard. So if you see the checkered flag alone, that in itself is not a stop race. It's merely a warning for the jockeys that there is a hazard somewhere ahead. But a yellow waving flag, i.e. that we're seeing there, is, my understanding, unless it's changed, and I'm not aware of it, that means it's a stopped race. It should be accompanied by whistles being blown as well to alert the jockeys to it. But ordinarily, the waving of a yellow flag under the instructions, as I understand them, means the race has stopped.
Yeah, Thanks, Stuart. That was my understanding of it as well. But it's always not, you know, these things can change, etc. But I knew the race at Doncaster you were referring to, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, say unless there's any reason that the stewards are looking at all these incidents. There is no news of any official inquiry called out on track, and obviously all of the jockeys continued, but it's. And there is an inquiry at Wetherby. There is a steward's inquiry at Wetherby. And as I say, my understanding of that is the signal to void the race, presumably because they felt the horse that was prostrate was on the racing line. Clearly, it turned out not to be. I didn't see any jockeys sort of flinch or change, but nonetheless, the simple fact remains. This is the reverse of what happened at Wolverhampton, isn't it? Where at Wolverhampton, they didn't raise the yellow flags. And hence the riders pulled up of their own volition and then realised it hadn't been stopped.
And here, I didn't see anyone, I don't know if we can run that back to where the yellow flag is, but nobody, if you look in behind, even stopped there. In fact, the yellow flag man is perilously close to...
Well, I think he was trying to stop,
yeah.
I think he was trying to stop the race. I think that was the reason for his proximity, was somewhere along the line he seemed to have received an instruction that the race was to be stopped, and hence he was so close. As I say, it didn't, you know, there was nothing at all. The two that pulled up were out the back.
And then, as Stuart says, the checkered flag on the left with the stricken horse, which is Ashburton Lad, which clearly they thought was on the racing line, is for a hazard, which is that. But they can clearly, even if they'd have doled that hurdle off, they can clearly pass probably either side there.
Yeah, well,
really.
No, absolutely. Yes, look, there's no way of knowing without obviously what the communications were. But there is a steward's inquiry at Wetherby.